Hello there, everybody. This is the Gentleman Snark here, as usual, giving you the weekly One Piece chapter review. Oh yeah, sorry about last week there, folks. A few complications had arise, so wasn't quite able to check out that One Piece chapter review. But since One Piece and many of the other weekly chapters are on break this week due to Golden Week, I can finally jump right back here and talk about last week's chapter here, and that is One Piece chapter 824. So yeah, a bit of information in this chapter here, but without further ado, let's just jump right into this and discuss this chapter here. Right off the bat, we continue from what happened in last chapter, which was 823, which showed the whole Pedro getting the newspaper showing that the revolutionaries' hidden hideout Baltico was in massive ruins. We get a lot of exposition as to what possibly happened. At the very least, what we can really get out of this chapter is that both Sabo and Dragon are not dead, because as it was stated in the chapter that if they were dead, the government would not hesitate to put that on blast all over the newspaper. So at least we know for a fact that Sabo and Dragon are not dead. Could be heavily injured though, because they did say there was a lot of damage, especially from the Blackbeard pirates, and they also managed to run into with Cypher Pole. So that's a very interesting thing to see there. I wonder how Blackbeard pirates managed to get away from Cypher Pole. But Blackbeard is no pushover, as we've seen, especially in such a short amount of time. He managed to take over Whitebeard's part as part of the Yonko. So yeah, it was kind of interesting to see and how it just now dawned on Luffy that, hey, Dragon, that's my dad. But even though he comes to his realization, his main concern in the chapter is what happened to Sabo, which rightfully so, since Sabo is his brother. He literally grew up with Sabo, while Dragon was Luffy kind of figured that out as a bit of an afterthought. So not that big of a surprise that Luffy is kind of like towards his own dad. Can't really blame him in this here. So yeah, very interesting exposition there. I'm really hoping that we get a bit of a flashback to kind of explain what exactly happened. But as long as both Sabo and Dragon aren't dead, I think not great news, because like I said, the entire Revolutionary Army is probably in a bit of a wreck and in shambles. But I'm pretty sure it's a very advanced organization, because if those of you who had watched the latest One Piece anime episodes where they showcase what exactly Sabo went through after his whole ordeal with the Tenryubito, we know that it really is an advanced organization that even goes so far as to training the young to fight and become part members of the Revolutionary Army. So I highly doubt that what Blackbeard did really put much of a damper on their things. Could it significantly cripple them? Yes, but the Revolutionary Army are still, I believe they're still major players within the One Piece realm here. It's just too vast, too many members here. So yeah, that's a very interesting exposition there. But my only concern is now what is going to become of whole Dragon's meeting with the great leaders of the Revolutionary Army. That's kind of been put to a halt. They could still do a bit of an underground meeting, but still they kind of have to cover up the significant losses due to Blackbeard's intervention here. But that's enough of the whole Revolutionary Army here. We go into the comical aspect where we see Luffy pretty much nearly burns down Sunny trying to make food for the rest of the crew. Luffy cooking is a joke in itself, as we soon see in the later chapter, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. So what I find very interesting here is that back in Zou, they're just now realizing that Carrot actually had left and is with the Straw Hats. So they don't seem to be too shaken up about it, but Inuarashi, he seems to be like really brooding, like the enemies that have been taken down by Zunisha, like Jack and all of them. He's really serious that soon the head honchos are going to come back for revenge. And there's one thing within this scene that I do want to pay attention to, and that's the fact that we get a glimpse of Jack underwater. And as we know, as a devil fruit, you become a hammer. You can't swim. You lose that ability to swim. So he's just kind of chilling underwater, unable to move. But the exact words he says was, "Someone come and pull me the fuck out of here." At least that's the exact words in the translation that I'm reading. So the first thing I notice about this little scene here is that Jack is alive. Like, Jack is alive here. Now, many people thought that when Zunisha destroyed Jack's ship, he was like KO, like he was gone, like he was out. But no, he's still alive. And it's not the fact that he's still alive, it's the fact that he's still alive underwater. Follow me here. Now we understand how devil fruit users, once they hit the water, they're useless. They can't swim. They literally drown. But while we do see that Jack isn't like, he can't move. He seems to be paralyzed and whatnot. He doesn't seem like he's gasping for breath or anything, which is awkward to me. And I don't understand, like, he just seems like he's just there chilling, like he's just waiting for someone to pull him out. But he doesn't seem like he's gasping for air, struggling to breathe. And the chapter, and from what we've seen of Jack so far, we haven't really seen him being hinted as being part fishman any at all. So it makes me wonder, how's he able to just stand there and just, you know, chill there and just kind of wait for somebody else to just pick him up out of the water. Which thus brings me to the next scene, where we see Kaido is basically having a whole bunch of mood swings while being drunk, going from a sympathetic drunk to a mean drunk. Basically is upset with the loss of Joker, aka Doflamingo, is being defeated by Luffy and got captured by the Marines. So no more artificial devil fruits, which apparently Kaido's main goal was to have an entire crew made of devil fruits, and he thought that would be the greatest crew of all time. And personally, I kind of think that Kaido is more of an idiot than normally aspired to, because while an army of devil fruit users as a pirate crew, while that ideally sounds cool and all, it's stupid. Why would you have just a crew filled of primarily devil fruit users? I mean, one good cannon blast, one good sink to the ship, and you're all done. Which brings me to my next potential theory here. Because we hear that Kaido was talking about artificial devil fruits, and then we double back and we see the scene where Jack was still, like, while he couldn't swim and he seemed to be stuck underwater, he didn't seem like the water was really bothering him, like he was drowning, gagging, or anything. So, potential theory here. What if these artificial devil fruits, since they're artificial and not like the actual genuine article, what if they were kind of an experiment of sorts to kind of maybe negate the whole loss of the ability to swim here? Well, let's think about that for a second, because like I said, maybe Jack has an artificial devil fruit, which could possibly explain as to why when he was underwater, while he couldn't move, he was still able to breathe and such. Now, it's a bit of a stretch, because there's no way to say now, even if it was artificial, how would he be able to still look decently okay underwater here? I'm just saying, it's a theory here, but it really makes you wonder, these artificial devil fruits, they're not like the genuine article, so they're artificial for a reason. So there has to be some kind of either drawback or some kind of add-on to them, which makes them either just as good, maybe slightly better, or inferior to the original devil fruits here. So we know that it was Caesar that managed to help make artificial devil fruits here, and Caesar was kind of like a makeshift trying to surpass Vegapunk. So, and it's also been stated that Vegapunk have found a way to make inanimate objects eat devil fruits. So my theory is I wonder, is that was Vegapunk on the verge of trying to create a devil fruit where you get all the powers, but they managed to like beat the negative effects? Like you'll still be able to have all this great power, but you'll still be able to swim. So I'm kind of wondering if this was some kind of makeshift experiment that Vegapunk had came up with, but then eventually scrapped once he realized that not exactly possible. And then Caesar the Clown came up and Joker came up and said, hey, we can make artificial devil fruits. Let's try to cash in on that. So that's just a bit of my theory to kind of explain that little irregularity in that. I'm not sure whether it's true or not, but like I said, I'm just speculating here. It's just very, very interesting to me to see how that all works out. So that's enough on the whole Kaido scene here. But wait, there is one more tidbit on this whole Kaido scene that we do have to talk about. If you remember our review, my review, I believe a couple chapters back, where it ended with Scratchman and Pooh working for Kaido, we had made a bit of a joke there that when Kaido came down, basically he kind of forced them all to work with him, while Scratch and Pooh decided to just jump ship. So we kind of joked that Hawkins up and left once he realized it wasn't in the cards, and Apu just decided to work after he saw how badly he messed up Kid. We kind of called that in this, as what we see in this chapter. We kind of called that because a lot of people speculated that Kid was a prisoner, but in this chapter it's confirmed. Prisoner Kid is Captain Eustace Kid is indeed a prisoner of Kaido. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. And can I just say that in this chapter, he looks like a bloody mess. He got wrecked. Like, Kaido spent no expense on him. And what really I'm curious about is, why is Kaido keeping Kid alive? That's my main concern. Why is Kaido keeping Kid alive? Is he planning on using him as some kind of bargaining chip or some kind of card to play? Like, I'm not sure, because and the whole, I highly doubt Luffy and the rest really have any love lost between them, and we already know which side Scratchman and Pooh kind of went on. So, what I'm saying is, based on the state that Kid is looking, I don't think Scratchman and Pooh was always working for Kaido the entire time. I kind of think that once he saw that, oh my gosh, Kaido's crashing the party, he decided to just jump ship just to save his own ass, which, gotta say, considering who they're up against, not that bad of a move. Pretty smart move there. Personally, I'd rather be Hawkins, who we assume just kind of just ran away, and I mean, I'd rather be that guy. But let's not get to that conclusion yet, because we don't even know the state of what Hawkins is in at the moment. So that's those major key points there. And then we go back to the Sunny, and when we see Luffy finally is done making his mystery curry, and yeah, not looking too good. Let's just say that because Luffy decided to go on a cooking binge, he kind of used up all the materials, so they're kind of stranded at sea. Let's hope they meet up with Sanji or land very soon to restock on supplies, because that is terrifying. Onto one of the other major point, like biggest major point here, is that we get to see Sanji again. We finally get to see Sanji again, and we see him speaking to one of the other crewmates from Big Mom's crew. And it seems to be kind of, at first the conversation is them trying to butter Sanji up, saying, oh, your father wants this for you, or Big Mom thinks very highly of you, and Sanji just kind of isn't having it because he's already made his decision. We're not sure exactly why Sanji is there. It seems as if, because remember, when he first left, he kind of left a note saying he had to talk to a lady about something. We don't know if that lady is his mother, his wife-to-be, or even Big Mom himself. We still don't know who exactly he's planning on talking to here, but in this chapter, we already see like kind of a battle of ideals where Sanji refuses to work with Big Mom because he doesn't like the idea of them easily shooting down one of their friends. So basically how Capone kind of gunned down Peckham's because he let his personal feelings get us into the side, which I understand personally, business before pleasure. Trust me, I understand the whole business before pleasure, but if you're on the same side, I wouldn't just literally gun him down like a dog. Like, I don't know, I personally cannot get behind that, but that's just my little personal tidbit there. So Sanji is just sticking to his morals and sticking to his convictions, saying that his hands are meant for cooking food for his friends, and he's determined to stay with the Straw Hats until he sees the picture of his wife-to-be, which it is confirmed that it's the three-eyed Triclops that we saw way back in, like way back in the One Piece chapter when we first got to see the shadowed silhouette of Big Mom. So yeah, apparently Sanji's gonna be marrying the Triclops. At least that's what everybody's assuming, because the way the hair is designed in the picture kind of blocks the third eye. But come on, I'm calling it. That's the Triclops. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just calling it there. And as many people predicted, even Zoro and Usopp, the moment Sanji saw her picture, he kind of just went already head over heels. So, yeah, we don't know. Nobody knows what's gonna happen next. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly how this is gonna work, because I feel like it might be one of those. Maybe it might be one of those. The one he's in, like, betrothed to marry. She probably doesn't want to do the marriage either, and probably has some big deal where she wishes she could be free and live her life, which probably will prompt Sanji to probably cancel the marriage and probably kind of rescue her, air quotes, with the help of Luffy and the others, of course. So I'm wondering if it's going to go down that path. Like, this could really go any path here, because Sanji's already smitten, and we already seen what happens when he's smitten with a girl. We have to admit, though, Sanji does have some game, because he did manage to charm Viola and Dressrosa, albeit he was getting his ass kicked by her first. But he does have a bit of charm. He does have some game here, so maybe we'll get to see him exploit more of that during this whole entire arc, this entire saga. So I'm straight looking forward to that, because when Sanji acts like a goofball, yeah, it's annoying. But when Sanji puts in work, actual work, and I don't just mean fighting, I mean actually thinking with his head too, the man delivers. He really does deliver. So I think I'm gonna call it. I think I'm going to call it here for now. So that is One Piece 800. That's One Piece chapter 824. Sorry that the it took a while for this chapter review to come out, but we are here now, so there it is there. So as always, folks, I am the Gentleman Snark. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Your contribution is very much appreciated here. We really do appreciate all the love and support we get here. So as always, folks,